Hello and welcome to Were You Not Entertained? I'm Daniel.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm James.
And we are continuing spooky season, and we are talking about another, like an actual horror movie.
Yeah.
It is PG-13, so, you know, as much horror as you can get in that, which means it's not gruesome or anything like that, so I guess that's good.
Good
It
for
has
me.
its advantages. Yeah, I'm not big on gore.
Exactly. But we are talking about Poltergeist, the 2015 version of it.
Yeah, the newer one, not the 80s classic.
Right. And that one had Poltergeist, Poltergeist 2, Poltergeist 3. So, like, they're wearing this one out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we're going to talk about the one that's 5 years old, and I don't think they've made another one since then.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so maybe they're not continuing down that path of let's make a sequel and a sequel and a sequel.
I would think maybe the success of Poltergeist, the remake, has something to do with no sequels.
Maybe so.
That does have an effect.
Yeah.
I'll start off with admitting I got the remake of Poltergeist mixed up with another horror movie,
Which one?
Sinister.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not similar. I just, for some reason, thought Ethan Hawke was in it, and then I realized that was Sinister.
Oh, yeah. No,
yeah.
This is the amazing Sam Rockwell.
Yes.
Yes. So that was
That's
a
how
pretty...
I refer to him all the time, as
All the time.
amazing
All the
Sam
time.
Rockwell.
No matter what he's in.
Exactly. It's like a
He's
title
really
like
good.
Duke.
Right. It's fair.
It's much longer.
It's better.
It is. Yeah, I don't think it did. I don't think it did too bad. Like, it had an estimated budget of $35 million, and it did a worldwide estimated of $95 million. So it's not like they lost money on the deal or anything like that. I just don't think what you normally get out of, in my opinion, what you normally get out of a horror movie is when you spend less on it, you make a lot more. Like, people seem to really appreciate it because there's not a lot of like special effects and things like that. So it's one of those things that it feels more real to them, I guess. And so the word spreads a little bit better.
And real is not exactly the way I would describe this movie.
No. I wouldn't either. Like I said, it is PG-13, so there's not the chance for, I guess, the gruesome side of things that would maybe be a little more like horrifying, not necessarily scary, but that kind of falls more in the horror portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they rely a little bit more on CGI and jump scares, which is kind of the trope for horror films. These kinds of horror films, anyway.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of unfortunate for Poltergeist to watch it right after The Conjuring.
Yeah, so if you haven't listened to that episode, that's one we did this week recently.
That we did prior to.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it is kind of a jump to go from the high realism, I mean, as realistic as a ghost story can be, into this, which is it gets a little wacky and almost an action movie at points.
Yeah, it does, and it takes some of those cheaper shots.
Wacky.
In my opinion. Yeah, there's a lot more of the jump scares, and in a way, this is a lot less frightening because this has very little basis in reality.
Your haunted tree isn't going to reach through a window in an attic, down some stairs, around a corner, and then pull you off of some stairs that it froze you on.
Well,
Right.
yeah, and it's likely that your closet's not going to turn into a brightly lit portal to the dam trapped in your house.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and say, obviously, now, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
sorry about that. But this movie is, I'd say, kind of based on the original. The
Yeah,
Stephen
it's
King-
definitely based on it, and there's some allusions to it as well, some callbacks.
right. So yeah, it's Steven Spielberg is credited as a writer, but that was actually based on the screenplay for the original.
Yeah.
So I think it takes some artistic leeway, I guess.
Absolutely. There's some liberties here.
Yes.
Because we're in this one. So if I remember correctly, and I haven't seen the original in a very long time.
Yeah, it's been decades.
But if I remember correctly, the original was their house was on top of an Indian burial ground.
Right, and I think that was kind of the joke that they made at the dinner party.
Right.
That it was a cemetery. It's not like it was a what did they call it? Tribal burial ground.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So this is just based off people being lazy and greedy. Like we just move the headstones and leave the bodies there.
Yeah.
And all the ghosts are angry about that. Somehow they didn't get to go to the light, which I'm assuming is their transportation to heaven or hell.
Yeah, it's the bus. It's the bus stop.
It's the bus stop. Okay. Why it has taken them so long to try to find the light? Because I'm pretty sure they've been dead for a while.
That was one of my sticking points. I have many, but why are all these angry souls still here? Because they didn't die for the most part. I'm assuming they didn't die violent deaths. So there's no reason for them not to have already migrated on.
They alluded that they were what's his name? Kerrigan Burke.
Yes.
Played by Jared Harris.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he said that when he first did the inspection of the house, he said that there were crimes done against them, or that they were horribly brutalized or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what it was. But he did say that like they were massacred or something of that nature. And but so if there was something that happened to them, but the story never tells us what that is. So
well, and the idea that they were all massacred makes you curious why there's tombstones, because that makes it sound like a mass grave situation. And why did you massacre these people and bury them individually?
With headstones.
Yeah.
This isn't a perfect movie, by the way.
No.
And it's not just because of the fact that it's following The Conjuring, which is would be arguably the perfect horror movie for me.
Right. This
movie definitely has its own set of problems.
Yeah. The fact that you find a vertebrae like 3 inches into the ground.
And it's not connected to other vertebrae.
It's got some very confusing points.
And no one ever mentions it again.
No.
Yeah. And for me, what it was is my expectations were set pretty low in the very, very beginning. Because as we start off, like the closet scene in the very beginning and the tree scene where the young boy Griffin ends up hearing something in the tree, and where the daughter Madison is talking to somebody in there and the door won't open. Like those two felt like that they were built up beyond what they were actually. The movie was trying to tell me that this was really creepy, and as the audience, I was like, it's not there yet.
Right, exactly.
Like you're really pushing for it to be creepier than it actually is, and just because you put creepy music just cheapens when you do it later on. And I don't know. I was kind of like, oh, this is going to suck after the first couple minutes. I think it got better for me because it seemed to be a little bit more over the top, and the fact that it turned into an action movie in Act 3.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
And that kind of was like, oh, okay, I can have fun with this. So by the end of it, I was entertained. And I liked the theme of we can do it together kind of thing.
Right.
As divided as they were in the beginning and stressed and snapping at each other, it was the way the family came together that helped them overcome the situation. Like it was fun and it felt good, but I'm kind of glad it kicked me a little in the very beginning. It was like, hey, by the way, we're not taking ourselves too seriously.
Right.
Or we really are, and it's actually kind of funny. One of the two.
Either way.
So I as much as it turned me off in the very beginning, it ended up being a good thing for me.
Yeah, I think that with as many holes or problems that this movie has, if you're looking to watch something that's not truly horrifying, it does. I mean, it has a couple jump scares, but you're just looking for something to kind of have that scary feel, but then you just kind of relax and watch it go through, and it does, like you said, kind of turn into more action at the end. Then this might be a good place to look.
Yeah.
I've watched this movie numerous times. It is certainly not my favorite. I don't hate it by any means. It
fun.
is not that bad. And, Sam Rockwell, even though there are some scenes where I'm just like, like you're doing a good job of being an actor, like being a good actor. But in the moment in the movie, it just kind of cheeses it up just a little, because you're so serious, but how can I be serious right now?
Yeah.
But he does a good job, as he always does, which is, I guess, a shining light for this movie.
I think Rosemary DeWitt did a lot of the heavy lifting, though.
Sure.
Yeah, she did great. She was very charming, and it was another one where sort of the family, I guess, is your central shining light.
Mm-hmm.
As much as maybe the kids weren't super likable.
I like the kid Griffin.
Yeah, Griffin was good.
And Kendra, I came around on it, which I think was kind of the purpose.
Yeah.
She's a self-centered teen that just has always got something snippy to say, but when the going gets tough, she's part of the family. And,
right. They, as you said, they did all kind of come together at the end.
Madison was a little annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trouble. I don't know. There was just something about this movie that it just didn't work for me. It has its issues, and it's one of the few like ghost movies, I guess, that you watch and there's not really a lot of closure at the end. I mean, you assume that they've made it to the light and Kerrigan doesn't come back.
Because there's like a Ghostbuster style light that blasts out of the top of the house.
Yeah,
right.
But the house is destroyed. The car is totaled.
Oh, yeah.
And the next thing you see is them looking for a new house in the same van that was just totaled.
No, it was a different van.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, minivans.
Well, that's also another thing. They're having money problems. Neither of them got jobs that we ever heard or saw about. And
that's so something else that I've noticed, or that I noticed, and I'm making an assumption here because they don't say it. So you remember, kind of towards the beginning, he was talking about, well, what am I going to do? Become a coach at a high school or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the last scene when they're driving away from the house that they were looking at, I noticed that he has on like a Letterman jacket, like a coach might wear,
Mm-hmm.
and then his kid has on a hat that has the same symbol on it. So I'm like, okay, so maybe he did become a high school coach. They don't tell you that, but I'm just assuming.
Yeah, that's still.
Yeah,
I get it. It's kind of a big leap, but yes, for them to have all these money problems and to start the movie with him spending all this money they don't have, and then that house is demolished.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's not like the bank is going to just be. Maybe they want a lawsuit. That's the only thing I could think of, is because otherwise, like, they're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt because they have a plot of land they can sell if anyone will ever buy it, since
right.
Yeah,
ghosts exploded out of it.
And I would have liked to just at least see that he got the job or hear
You would like a
anything-
little more of a wrap up than, oops,
Anything to
this
make it a
house
little
doesn't have a good
plausible.
feel. We're driving away.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
because
that's what you get.
I mean, in The Conjuring, they're having money problems as well, but they sort the ghost problem out and then they give you a little afterword to let you know that, you can stay in the house because it's clean now and move forward, but you don't get anything here.
Right.
But again, this was my fault. I thought that we were going to watch Sinister, so
Sinister is a much better movie.
Sinister is
than
really
this
good.
It is really good.
So
Maybe should
check
have
that one out. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moral of, if you want something that's kind of creepy and not horrifying, watch Crimson Peak.
how is that the moral? That's it's left field.
You just like Crimson Peak. That has nothing to do.
Hey, I'm just saying, if you want a PG-13 kind of creepy movie,
okay.
because
Well, fair.
Sinister is not kind of creepy.
No, Sinister
Yeah.
is very creepy.
It's
but
real creepy.
this is
Now, one thing that Poltergeist does, which also I think was reminiscent of the first one from what I remember from ages ago,
Mhm.
is the way that it integrates modern technology. And they updated it with the new one, with the use of the drones and the cell phones and the tablets and the alarm system. The alarm system was there before, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
But you know what I mean? It brings a lot of that into it. And so
LED
I always
TV.
kind of felt like it was a play on technology. And so
Sure.
I don't know. It's its own thing.
It is.
I think it's more like a PG-13 version of something like VHS, or what's the Michael Keaton one with the like static where he hears voices in it? I can't remember. But
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember off the top of my head.
it's been a while, but something along those lines. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. I think this was a fun movie. Do I think it was a good movie? Not really. Was it done well in most aspects? Yes, but I
Mhm.
think that either the editing or the writing fell down somewhere.
I think it was the writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole like Village of the Damned thing in the extra plane or whatever you would call it.
Yeah.
That was a little hokey. I think they could have done that, maybe pulled back just a little, and it would have felt scarier and more realistic instead of making it look like some goo they're floating through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
maybe so.
strange.
Yeah.
Because I get the premise and I'm here for it. It's just maybe one of those situations where if you had just stepped back one step, you could have had something really great, but you tried to make it too scary and ended up making it kind of comical.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the writing. Maybe it was the visualization of the writing, the idea that they were trying to bring to the screen, and they just kind of went over the top. It's like that giant mechanical spider in Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Well, and not
Fair
Like you-
enough. I think
Like
that's
you were
a
doing
analogy.
good, and then what?
I'll
is
say
yours?
what?
not all of the visuals were bad because, the scene towards the beginning with the dryer where it oozes,
Yeah,
that's fine. And even when the eldest daughter's down in the basement or whatever, and she picks up the piece of concrete and the
Mhm.
ooze rises out, that's fine.
yeah.
But then the tree kind of took it a little far.
The psycho clown was cool.
Yeah, the
I
clown
mean,
in
that
his
was-
room was great.
Yeah, that was pretty suspenseful, and then a little jump scare there. But yeah, then the tree. Then you get to the tree, and it's like, really?
That's where
What
they
kind-
jumped the shark.
What kind of? Yeah, exactly.
They mix these really great
what
moments.
kind
with
of
these
weeping willow is this?
super heavy-handed visuals sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they spent more than they should have. I think that if they had taken the idea and run with it and made it something a little more realistic, it would have been a lot better. They felt CGI was the way to go, and we could make all these cool things. I think they just kind of got a little carried away, and you end up with some stuff that's just hokey. But like I said, I don't hate this movie at all, even because of that. it makes it a little more like if you're not in the mood to get terrified, you know, you want to watch something in the middle of the night and you don't really feel like going to sleep and having bad dreams.
Yeah.
And this might just be what you need. It's enough to fulfill the I watched a scary movie without it being super scary. Yeah, you don't like it. I get it. But
I said nothing. No,
Yeah.
I think that the problem was they either did too much or not enough. So if the
I think they
whole
definitely
thing,
did
See
too
that?
much.
if the entire movie had been incredibly over the top, then at least it would have felt cohesive.
Yeah, it did seem like that they were trying to sell you a really creepy horror ghost story for the first 2/3, like the first hour and 15 minutes. And
Yeah.
then the last 45 minutes was, all right, let's jump into an action movie where we're traversing another plane to save a little girl by a rope.
Yeah,
Like-
it is like they watched Ghostbusters and we're like, oh, this is it.
Right.
Say, all right,
And-
how do we wrap this up?
And I mean, to be honest, they're trying to make the same feel from a horror movie of the 80s. And so, you know,
Yeah.
they may have been going for a similar feel. That's why they wanted PG-13 instead of rated R, because the original was rated PG.
Yeah. And it was, if I remember, it was a little more suspenseful than scary or anything like that. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
you got the kind of, you know, the banging cupboards kind of deal, you know, that kind of scary movie.
Exactly.
Um,
But stuff that would just be hokey nowadays.
Right. So, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, check it out, guys. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. I would say I was entertained-ish.
Ish. All right. Do you guys want to get into favorite scenes?
Yeah, let's do it.
No.
All right, let's start with you, Rachel. We're feet into the fire.
I know, the one that just said no.
Yeah, you spoke
Yep.
up too soon.
I guess my favorite scene of this movie is it would have to be some of the Kerrigan Burke stuff,
Oh, yeah. That's good.
because I thought that he was at least really funny and it was interesting, and I knew where they were headed with it anyway, but I still liked it. That she's obsessed with this ghost show,
Right.
Yeah.
and that, yes.
Kendra's obsessed with the ghost.
I guess that's not a scene to say that I really love at the end when she got him to say the line, but
No, that's part of the scene.
so yeah, there's my favorite scene. How about you, Daniel?
Well played.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do that. So my favorite scene is actually it's my favorite and my least favorite at the same time. Because I think we already talked about it, but it was actually down in the basement when Kendra was, I guess the lights started flickering. So there's so many things that I have a problem with in this scene, but it was the piece in the actual basement when the concrete starts cracking and she pulls up the concrete and she turns around and there's like the dead, like the corpse or whatever that
Yeah.
scares her, and then she steps back and steps into the hole of the piece of concrete that she pulled up, and it's all ooze, and the hand shoots out and grabs her and pulls her down. I enjoyed that. That wasn't too over the top for me. I think it was a good kind of scary. You know, it's one of those things where she could actually just like get pulled in, you know, and never see her again. Of course, that's not how this goes, but yeah, so I enjoyed that portion of it. I didn't necessarily enjoy the getting frozen on the stairs and the tree portion.
Yeah, that was
of it.
weird.
It was a good moment with yes, it was weird. It was a good moment with the brother and the little sister,
Mm-hmm.
with Griffin and Madison, when she was kind of hiding over in her corner or whatever, because she's in the room where the portal is and kind of all the activity is taking place at that point.
Yeah.
Or until that point. And it was just too scary for him. And he was like,
Peace out, don't move. Yeah. Don't go to the closet.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck, little kid.
And that's what spurs him on later in the movie. You know, to be the one that's going to go and save his sister. So I enjoyed that portion of it and what it meant for them as a family.
Right.
I didn't enjoy the fact that she's listening to her cell phone and it starts getting staticky and she's walking around like it's a FM radio.
Right.
Like you're going to get better reception by pointing it somewhere.
But I didn't hate the way that the cell phone messed up.
No, I didn't hate that at all.
It was just that she kept turning the screen out and holding it up like that was going to change.
Like if she had like tried switching songs or like pausing and unpausing or unplugging and replugging, you know, things that
people actually do with cell phones.
Not everyone's an IT guy. Let's move on.
But anyway, yes, that's what led her into the basement. And I didn't like that portion of it. I didn't like the scary weeping willow that suddenly grows and stretches down hallways. But
and then is like juggling him while the parents come home.
Yeah. Stop the car. What do you mean stop the car? You're like half a mile
Drive
away,
up
bro.
to the
Get up
tree.
there.
Like, why would you?
So that's my favorite scene.
All right.
How about you, James?
Well, you know me, I got to go for the sappy part. So for me, it was absolutely when the dad, Eric, is sitting down with Griffin after Burke has showed up. Showed up from the float. Yeah. Right. Because of the fact that through the beginning of it, you know, Griffin has a major role in the movie. If he's arguably the main protagonist.
I would say, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, you have so much of the beginning, his parents trying to help him not be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And with everything that they go through, and once they start believing what Griffin's seeing, it kind of is the whole courage morality. It's courage isn't not being afraid. It's being willing to overcome it, being scared anyways.
Right.
And so, you know, when they think about Madeline and he asks if he's still scared, and he's like, yeah. He's like, but maybe you got a little more courage. And he's like, yeah. And just the way that it kind of brought them together. And, you know, that's where I think that moment was the impetus for Griffin to run upstairs and be the first one to go through and save Madison. But yeah, I don't know. I like that scene. I felt like that was the moment. I was like, oh, okay, fine. You got me.
You got me.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be good. It's fun. So,
yeah, no, I think that's fair. It's a good choice.
Not a movie.
You tug on my heartstrings, I'll give you a pass.
Yes, sap.
What can I say? All right. Well, then, anything else you guys want to cover before we finish up?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you enjoyed our coverage of the 2015 version of Poltergeist. If you did, please go online, like and subscribe, and join us next time on Were You Not Entertained?